Good morning, children. Today let us study the administration of the Chola Empire. How was the rulers administered their kingdom? Okay, so how Chola Empire was administered by the rulers. We know that how was the administration organized by the rulers of Chola Empire. We know people lived largely in a group. So they were called the settlements. What were the settlements? The settlements of the people. So large group of people lived together, especially the settlements of peasants. We know large number of people were farmers. Okay, so farmers or the peasants lived together. That village or village settlement was known as Ur. In Tamil language it is Ur. Ur was the village of settlements of peasants. This became very prosperous. We know that agriculture was continuously going on. Later on, this Ur or the villages became very prosperous. And because of the spreading of agriculture, and rulers also were providing much irrigation facilities, So groups of such villages, Ur means the settlements of peasants. Villages of such large Ur or the many of these such kind of settlements became larger and larger gradually, and this became Nadu. Okay, so what was Nadu? The smaller settlements of peasants were known as Ur, and when Ur began to develop or began larger and larger, that was known as Nadu. So village council, there was also administration in the villages like panchayats which we have in our areas. So they also had such kind of village council, and the Nadu also performed administrative functions including the dispensing the justice and collecting taxes, etc. So these they also had such kind of councils, village council, and people were elected for the village council, and from them and they had to maintain the justice, providing justice like a court. It was functioning these village council or and Nadu also functioned like providing justice to the people and also collecting taxes from them, from the peasants and other artisans or the people who are living in the village, etc. So rich peasants, we know very large landowners like zemindars or rich peasants, they were known as they belonged to the Vellala caste. Rich peasants or rich farmers who belonged to the Vellala caste exercised considerable control over the affairs of the Nadu, and under the supervision of the central government. The Chola rulers maintained the central government. Under the Chola rulers, there were some these councils or village councils existed. There also Vellala caste, those people were very rich peasants or farmers. They all had a very good power, okay, in the society. Okay, so this period Chola kings gave some rich landowners titles also. Such kind of Vellala caste landowners, they were given some titles because of their power, and they also maintained some sort of army with them also. Okay, they used it to help the king also in case of any emergency. So these the landowners, or we can say the zemindars, or these landowners were given some sort of title which was especially, can say, Muvenda Velan. Okay, the Velan or the Muvenda Velan. Velan is a peasant serving the kings especially. Why it was given Muvenda Velan means they used to serve three kings. Muvenda Velan was the title given to such kind of the landowners, which means one who the peasant who is serving three kings. That another one is Arayur. Arayur is a chief. Okay, a most important personality. Arayur is a chief, and Muvenda Velan, and these are all the titles were given to such kind of large peasants in the Chola Empire. So these people were all also given some particular duty was entrusted with them. Some sort of important officers they had to maintain. So they were also given some in chargeship for collection of taxes, etc. So during this period, how the land existed, we can find out there were 5 different types of land existed in the Chola Empire. How these 5 different types of land existed, we can say from the inscriptions. We have studied many inscriptions were available about the administration of the Chola rulers. From the inscriptions, we can find out these were the different types of land existed. So one example we can say Velan Vagai, these are all Tamil names. Brahmadeya, and Shalabhoga, Devadhana, and also they were known as Tirunamattukkani. Okay, this is in the Tamil language. Tirunamattukkani, Pallichandam. These were the different names of the terms used for the different types of lands under the administration of the Chola rulers. Now let's see here what are the differences. Velan Vagai is the land which was non-Brahmana peasant proprietors. Okay, we know that non-Brahmanas, who were the people who owned non-Brahmanas were on the land which was known as Velan Vagai. Brahmadeya is a land gifted to the Brahmanas. The rulers used to gift land without revenue. Okay, revenueless land was also, or free tax land was also gifted to the Brahmanas, which was known as Brahmadeya. Shalabhoga was land given for the maintenance of a school. Devadhana, or which was also known as Tirunamattukkani, which was the land gifted to the temples. All the revenue from the temples, all the property from the from this land can be taken by the temple for its maintenance. Devadhana or Tirunamattukkani. This land was also had not access to pay to the government. All resources from this land can be used for the maintenance of temples. Then comes the Pallichanda. Pallichanda was land donated to the Jaina institutions. Jain temples or Jaina institutions also were given some sort of land free of taxes, without paying any taxes. We can say Brahmanas often received land by the rulers. Brahmanas were gifted land which was known as Devadhana. So large number of Brahmanas we can find out when the Brahmanas were gifted land, so that knowing that many large number of Brahmanas settled emerged in the Kaveri Valley, because in South India also, South Indian region in the Kaveri Valley, because we know the rulers used to gift the land to the Brahmanas, so that large number of Brahmanas began to come and settle in the Kaveri Delta near in the Chola Empire or nearby the temples there. So each Brahmadeya, so or the land gifted to the Brahmanas, looked after by an assembly of the Sabha. So this also, many people when they come and settle in an area, it becomes a village. So they should have an assembly or the administration. Someone should administer the region. So it becomes very larger areas, or becomes nadus. So prominent Brahmana landholders, that means the Zamindars or the very rich Brahmana landholders look after these the administration of these Brahmana settlements. Okay, so these assemblies worked very efficiently. Their decisions were recorded in detail in the inscriptions. Often they also on the stone walls of temples the inscriptions were written. So how these Sabha or Brahmana assembly used to maintain the administration of the these villages, Brahmana villages or Brahmadeya. So these all administration are inscribed on the temple walls. We can find out in Tamil Nadu regions, many places. Okay, so associations of traders also were there, merchants associations or traders associations. They were also known as Nagarams, association of traders, the union or the group of traders which were known as Nagarams. They also occasionally performed some sort of administrative functions in Chola Empire. So inscriptions, we have already said the stone walls inscriptions were made and planted on the temple walls, planted beside the temple walls, so that we can find the how administrations were done or taken place during the Chola rule. So in Uttaramerur in Tamil Nadu, we can find out the inscriptions given in the Uttaramerur or Chinglepet district of Tamil Nadu, that is in Uttaramerur, provide details way of how Sabha was organized, how these administrations of Sabha in the Brahmadeya was taken place. Very clearly, very detailed explanation is given there. So the Sabha had separate committees to look after irrigation works, gardens, temples, etc. Different committees, which means like the modern world democracy, we know that the ministers are given or empowered with a particular sort of particular departments are entrusted under the responsibility of ministers. Like that, this Sabha also had many committees. Some of these committees were taking care of irrigation works, gardens, public works also, PWD works, public work departments there, and some committee were entrusted for taking care of the temples. Like that, different committees were there. Names of the eligible members, we know that how the elections were conducted, and these committees were also given in chargeship to particular people. How these people were elected? So in this, they had the eligible persons' names were written on palm leaf, and these tickets were put into an earthen pot, a clay pot. From that, a young boy was asked to take out these tickets one by one for each committee. How the elections were conducted? They used to write the eligible candidate's name on palm leaf, and they put in these tickets in an earthen pot. A small boy or a young boy was asked to pick up one by one, and that names whose name was taken by the boy will be given the in chargeship of each committee. So this was the way they had conducted elections also. So that's about the administration of the Chola Empire. Now we will study more about the inscriptions and texts in the next class.